Welcome back, everybody. And today again we have Hendrik Vorster with us. So this is a part two of a series we're doing, just a two-part series on the six higher mental faculties of success. And these are the mental faculties that you build on. And I want you guys to think about like when you build a building, there are certain things that you need to build a building. You don't only build it with one thing, and with your mind and with your mental faculties, it's the same. So I'm not going to go into what we spoke about in part one. If you haven't seen part one yet, I want to encourage you to go watch it. We're gonna put the link in this video. So if you haven't seen part one, we discussed the first three mental faculties in part one. Please go watch that. Today we're only going to discuss number 4, 5, and 6. Hendrik, welcome back. It's so great to have you again.
Thank you, Albert.
Hendrik is from No, I just wanted to say Hendrik is from the Institute of Possibilities, and he's a great person in business. Just before we start, Hendrik, maybe just tell people a little bit about your company and what you do.
Yeah, I've got a great or big passion about awakening people to their true potential, you see. So I always say I'm not a positive thinker, I'm a possibility thinker, you see. Now, possibility brings all kinds of elements in, like if I want to have a battery, I need the positive and negative poles to have the current flowing through, you see. So when you understand the fantastic purpose of both negative and positive, and you utilize that to your good, then unlimited possibilities will be created. So that's what it's all about, you know, for me. Possibility thinking.
I actually wrote in my book, my one book that I wrote about something that I heard of, and it's an idea from a different book that was written. Cannot remember the author's name right now, so because I didn't plan I was going to say this, but it speaks about toxic positivity. I don't know if you've ever heard of toxic positivity. And toxic positivity is when you face a negative situation and people are just like, think positive, speak positive, don't be negative. And since I've been reading about that, I changed, my vocabulary from positive thinking to healthy thinking. And healthy thinking doesn't say everything is always positive, everything is always just magically good, but in every situation, by healthy thinking, you can use every single positive, or you can use every single such situation to help you build, grow, or to work out positively in some way.
I love it. Great concept.
So Hendrik, let's go right into number 4. So what is the fourth mental faculty for success?
Can I quickly just give the 6, okay, just for context?
Yes.
Okay? So a mental faculty is actually your superpower that's been hidden from us. I told you in the first session that I turned almost 54 before I realized that in my conscious mind, I've got 6 higher mental faculty. That's actually my intelligence. If you talk about the person's intelligence, not IQ, intelligence, meaning I can effectively use and utilize my 6 higher faculties: will, reason, perception, memory, intuition, imagination.
Awesome.
Okay, so start by just memorizing those, say it 10,000 times, until you just know it, you see, and then you start to actually use it. And remember, understanding is always the result of applied knowledge, you see. Because I can give you a fantastic book about the higher faculties, but unless you apply it and experiment with it, it will mean nothing to you. So memory is the fourth one that we're talking about today. And I've been thinking a lot about memory. So what we do with memory is we use memory negatively, actually recreate old negative experiences, you see. Now, remember, the wonderful thing about memory is I can imagine using my 5th higher power of mental faculty, and then I can imagine something wonderful. And I can imagine it where the law of assumption comes in, as if it already happened. And now I tell that story to me, you see. But remember, your subconscious mind cannot differentiate between reality and almost fiction, you know, fantasy, you see. To your subconscious mind, those are real. That's why you never, you know, tell jokes about yourself or use irony or sarcasm with your subconscious mind, because it takes everything literally, you see. So now, we say, so I'm going to link on the fifth higher faculty, imagination, as well. So using both there. So we say imagination is the you know, the workshop of God, you know. So that's where you create some of the most wonderful things. Now remember, background, okay? Understand your mind. Understand conscious mind, subconscious mind, superconscious mind. The sixth higher faculty, intuition, speaks directly with your superconscious mind, your intuitive mind, working on frequencies, you know. That's where you link with the true reality, the quantum energy field, or the ether, or for some people, the kingdom or spirit, okay, that works for me or against me, depending on the kind of thoughts that I'm holding in my mind. You see? So I'm actually integrating, can you hear me now? I integrate memory as well as imagination, as well as intuition, to actually create something wonderful in future.
I just want
Okay,
to
maybe I
say
can
this.
talk.
The quantum that you're speaking about, I just want to clarify this for people who don't know exactly what quantum is. Here we speak about something that you cannot see with your physical eyes, but you can see it with your imagination.
And you use imagination, you use actually that ability that Jesus talks about, faith, you see. Now, faith is just the vehicle through which you access a true nature that you cannot see with your physical eyes or experience with your five senses. But it's actually the true place from where you create, you see. Now remember the two realities. There's a five senses world with certain laws that works in the five senses world. Then there's the quantum field, energy field, or the ether, or spirit. For me, the kingdom, you know. My reality is, Jesus said, the kingdom of God is within you. Meaning, the ether, the quantum field, the kingdom, spirit, energy, is within me. You see. And when I use faith, because Jesus said, if you believe, you will see. It's as real as the five senses physical world, you know. So you first create there, and then you transmute it to your five senses world. So that's why you use your higher faculties as an integrative one unit. And then you start creating a fantastic life.
Quickly
Does it
explain,
make sense?
quickly explain, as you always say, from above below. And it's
Okay.
basically what you just said. I know.
Yeah, great. You see, we live on three planes of existence. Okay. We are in essence spirit and mental and physical. You see, we talk about my higher self, my lower self, my spirit self, where you actually find your true identity. You see, where you are eternal, infinite. You can never cease to exist. Everything is perfect there. You see. Now, what happened was, because we are physically inclined, physically exposed, you see. So everything was created in our self-image from the five senses world, because that's all I was aware of, you know. So my self-image was built from the five senses. My sense of reality was built from the five senses world. And that is the world of the impossible, you see. Because we always say it's not possible. It cannot happen. Well, it's true in the limitations of the five senses world, but in the higher world, the quantum physical world, there's everything possible. Like I've told you, remember, When you talk about quantum physics, there's one thing that we talk about superposition. Remember, it's like a ballerina that can turn left and right simultaneously.
Mm.
Now, a five senses logic cannot understand it, although maths can prove it, you know.
Mm.
But the law in the quantum field, where imagination, intuition, true memory, you know, true reasoning, true perception, true will of concentration works, that's where you recreate yourself, you know. Now, the big thing for me was, in my journey, was to accept that it exists. You see, I had to accept it.
Mm.
Because that was outside of my known world. Huh? And then I decided I believe it. Okay, I chose to believe it. And when I believed it, a world started to opening up, you see. Because when you change your beliefs, certain realities start to open up for you.
I know Dr. Joe Dispenza once spoke about, I cannot even remember exactly the name he gave for it, but he almost spoke about a filter between the conscious and the subconscious mind, where if information comes to your senses, if information comes into your, like, let's say your eyes or your ears, external world, world of matter, if the information comes in, there's a filter between your conscious and your subconscious that decides what information goes in and what information doesn't go in. But he also said that filter is influenced also a lot by the subconscious mind, meaning what you previously believe. So I want to know what you hear about this, because you know a lot of negative information from the outside comes in, and you know good information, positive, encouraging possibility, as you always say, information from the outside comes in. But is it normal that predominantly, or is it normal to say that predominantly people's filter will cut out what is good and what is positive and just receive what is negative because that's how they are programmed?
Absolutely. But that filter is your RAS, reticular activating system. You see, it's actually how you, it's a kind of a defense mechanism for info overload. You see. Now, what happens is, actually, the controlling part of your mind is your conscious mind. You see, remember, it's your gatekeeper. Now, because that was totally in ignorance, you see, because remember, if you would know and apply skillfully your 6 higher powers, higher faculties, will, reason, perception, memory, intuition, imagination, you could have then filtered. Now, quickly remember, perception is awareness shaped by your beliefs. Your beliefs plays a big role in your RAS, reticular activating system, you see. So whatever I believe will be led through to my subconscious mind. Now remember now, so I've just been born. My subconscious mind is wide open. So everything just goes in straight, you know. My language, my parents, my family, my culture, everything, you know. So it's like when you buy a brand new laptop, a powerful laptop, it's got no programs on. It cannot work unless you put programs and apps on it. So once you put certain apps on it, then you can start functioning. And that's what happened with us, you know. So now then, that becomes your program. And remember, we call that your paradigm. 95% of our lives are actually controlled by your paradigm, you see. And there comes now the great thing that says, if I programmed my subconscious mind with X thoughts, and it's normally negative thoughts, as you've just said, you know, because life is negative. Impossible, be realistic, you know, you remember what do you think, where must I get money from, you know, do you think money grows on trees, you know?
It actually does.
We can't afford it.
If you think about it.
Yeah. So all those negative things, the whole scarcity things that have been programmed in us, you see, all the impossibility thinking. So now it's X thoughts. and it works on autopilot the whole time. So now I come with new ideas, you see. Possibility thinking. I'm telling you about the quantum field. I'm telling you about faith. And now your programming said, what are you saying? You know, and it now reacts. How? It makes you feel very uncomfortable. It makes you feel something is very wrong. And it now resists all new truth. Because maybe it was programmed by the lie, but the lie became the truth. Hey. But that's the big thing for people to really accept truth. Because you will hear people say, well, it's not the way I've grown up, you know. We never did that in my home, you see. So this is new to me and familiar to me. That's not the way I grew up. That's actually another word for my programming, you see. So why do we emphasize the higher faculties? Because that's the way you reprogram. You see? So knowledge becomes understanding. Okay. So how does knowledge become understanding? When I try to experiment with knowledge. Okay. So that's what I've done in my journey. I said, well, I hear it, I'm a researcher, so let me see if it works. That's why I'm a journalist, you see. So I would take something, experiment with it, you know, and say, it works. And then why did it work, you see? And then I will experiment more, you see. And as I got the knowledge and I start to experiment with it and I saw the results, then I start to understand it. And the more I understand it, the more I believe in it. The more I will get more knowledge, the more I will practice and experiment, the more I will understand. Can you see? And that's how you start to actually grow. And new dimensions open up for you. You see? That's actually very fantastic.
I once did a message, and I want to hear what you think about this. Not like as in a affirmation kind of thing, but like what are your thoughts? So I did a message once called "But Where I Come From." That was what the message was called. It was called "But Where I Come From," and it was about that. It's about this idea of I live on planet Earth, but I come from the kingdom of God. And it was the whole idea of if people say, but the economy in your country is bad, then I'll always say, but where I come from, the economy is not bad. A lot of people are anxious, and I'll say, but where I come from, the people are not anxious. And it just says my body can be here, but you know, spiritually and mentally, I come from another place.
Yeah, I love it. I've just last week in my journal, you've heard me saying, I always ask 3 existential questions, remember. Existential says, why do I exist? Okay. So you have to answer 3 existential questions. Number 1 is, what do I want? You see? Number 2, who do I want to be? Number 3, what will I do with what I've received and do I become? Okay. Now before that, I must have a clear indication of my 3 existential statements. Now that's a new one in my journal now, you see. So my first existential statement says, I am. My second existential statement, I belong. And my third one, I believe.
That's good.
So if you have a clear sense of who you are, what is your name? Okay, your name is very, very important. Not the name Albert, there's another name for you, you know. It's a true name, you see, but you must actually, you know, let that name be revealed to you. That's your secret that you share with no one in the universe. Okay? There's a secret name for you. You're not allowed to share that with no one, no living soul on this earth. It's your secret. Okay? And then I belong. Now I am of the kingdom. You see? So the kingdom is in me, but the kingdom became one with me. Every atom, everything in me is kingdom. You see? That is my true. If you ask that philosophical question, what is the nature of reality? You know? What is true reality? For me, the nature of reality is the kingdom, you see. And that kingdom has a king, the king of the universe, the authority of the universe. And for me, that king's name is Jesus Christ, you see. He is the absolute authority in the universe. You see? So I cannot have the kingdom without having the king. So I had to make a decision to believe in the King of Kings and to take his words. So I believe means I believe there's a king of the universe. I believe every commandment, every statute, every precept of him. I believe his word as the highest authority for me, but also in the universe. And when I am, I belong, I believe, and I'm using my higher faculties, I'm using the 8 laws, plus, mentalism, everything is thought, correspondence, as above, so below. The King of Kings said, as in heaven, so on earth, and vice versa. What you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, or permitted or allowed. You see the correspondence principles. Vibration, everything is energy, polarity, positive, negative, rhythm, cause and effect, gender, care, and much more. So can you see, when you have knowledge about the whole spectrum, and it's actually in dimensions, that's why you keep on doing it,
Yeah.
That's why you have your journaling time.
Quickly speak to us, just finally, one final thing. Quickly speak to us about the connection between journaling and imagination.
There's a law there that I love, the law of perpetual transmutation. Meaning, remember, energy cannot be created and it cannot be stopped. The creator created. There's a concept in theology, ex nihilo, that we talk about, created out of nothing. Only the creator can do that, you see. So water is energy. Can you create water? Can you stop it? Because water becomes ice, becomes steam, becomes, water dump, and so on. So when I start to see with my imagination the reality in the imaginative world. Now, you remember, that if you want to build a house, your dream house, where do you start with it? You start dreaming about it. Where? In your imagination. You see exactly how every part of your home must look like. You walk in that. You bath in your beautiful bathroom. You braai there on your stoop, You park your cars in the garage. You've got your swimming pool, whatever you can imagine, okay? And then once you live there, then you contact your architect, you see? So in the beginning, you've drawn your pictures, and then you contact your architect, ask him, okay, so then he listens to you, and you tell him, I want it like that. And then you start with measuring, and drawing your thing onto a specific scale that you want, okay? And then the whole process of getting it approved and so on. And then you start with the building thing, and then you actually move in. And you live in that house that you've actually imagined, and now you live in the physical house that you've built. And that's the perpetual transmutation. Transmute says, I take energy from one dimension to another. You must first imagine your home, you see. And then at the moment when you write it down, okay, you transmute it to this reality. That's why I say, use your pen and paper, because I believe nothing is real until it's written down. Real, real in the physical 5 senses world, because it's real in the imaginative world. So it's real in that dimension. So you transmute it with your pen and paper, and you bring that into the 5 senses world. You see, it can be a business, it can be, an idea can make you a billionaire, for instance. You just transmute the idea.
And then when you write, when you journal, when you imagine something and then you journal it, you do it in repetition, not only in your imagination, but also in your journaling. And I just want to, encourage people this, because I remember earlier you said something, you have to say it to yourself 1,000 times. So just imagining something once and just writing down something once, is not going to do it. It's something that has to, I want to say, live in your imagination, because Bob Proctor said if you can hold it in your head, you can hold it in your hand. Now, he didn't say if you can think it once. It's something that has to now start to live in your imagination, right?
You know, we say that you plant the seed in your subconscious mind by what you want. And then how do you water it? You keep on thinking about it, you see. How do you think about it? There's another law, the law of assumption. I already have it. Now, I love the metaphor that you always use, Albert, about a pregnant woman. You see, that's a fantastic metaphor that you use, you know, because the moment of conception, according to that mother and father, there's already a baby. It's already a human being. So you see it as I've already achieved it. I already have it. And then from there, you start thinking. You never think towards something. Remember, you always think from something, you see. So when I've imagined it, whenever you see, you put the goal there, you see, and I've got specific goals. I write it every morning, every day. This morning again, I got up as usual at 4:30, you see, every day. For instance, I think I've told you about the 5 mind states that I'm cultivating, you know, gratitude, appreciation, love and care, compassion, as well as generosity. Now, the more I think about gratitude, the more the seed grows, you see. The more I think about appreciation, and then I just appreciate what I'm seeing. I appreciate the sunset. I appreciate what I have, you know. And that's how it becomes a different mind state that you do. So repeating the same word, because words speak stories and realities, you know. Just put the word gratitude there, you know. To you, it can tell a lot of stories, you see. Just the word gratitude and appreciation, you see. And again now, very important, there comes the law of vibration and harmonious attraction. Because what you think is a vibration, a level of existence. And then there's a secondary law of harmonious attraction, that you attract to your mind that which you think about, you see. That's why words have a certain vibration and attraction.
But feeling also plays a role, like emotion, like let's say the emotion of gratitude. It comes with your thinking.
Because I've got a formula that I always write in my journal. EX times MX equals DX. Okay. E stands for my thoughts, the energy of my thoughts. M stands for I'm becoming magnetic. How do you become magnetic? By your feelings, you see. I connect the feeling with the thought, the idea. And that gives me, D is my power, like dynamis, you know.
Oh.
It makes you powerful, you see. So E is the energy of my thoughts. M is the magnet. I'm becoming magnetic through my emotions, my feeling. I must feel it, you see. Equals. Now, I put the X there because you can decide
what is
how
it?
big, what is the intensity of your thoughts and feelings and how powerful you want to become, you know. That's why you use the repetition of your journal. So again, I will repeat myself. I don't journal for love and charity. I've got a specific strategy why I journal, I'm telling you.
Wow. Hendrik, it's always so great speaking to you. I really enjoyed doing the sessions on the 6 higher faculties. Thank you so much. Thank you for your participation in my life. And I do believe that every single person who is watching this video will benefit from it. So thank you so much.
Thank you. It was wonderful for me chatting with you always, Albert. Thank you.
Okay. Great. Thank you so much, and looking forward to speaking to you again.
Thank you very much, Albert.
Thank you, Hendrik.
Thank you.